Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie. If you are new here, I do all kinds of lifestyle videos and motherhood vlogs. I am the mom to two girls under 2.5, but I do like to also share our personal finance journey. I usually share 1 to 2 financial videos a month, but I do weave in like our budgeting and money content into some of the other stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure that you subscribe. Today's actually going to be a finance sit down video. I have both girls down. I'm looking at their monitor right now. I never get them both down at the same time. Poppy, sometimes I get a 20-minute nap, sometimes I get an hour and 20-minute nap. So I'm on a time crunch because she's already been down for like 10 minutes and Benjamin just sneezed and probably woke them all up. So let's get going and we'll talk about how June went. I'm gonna do a June budget recap, kind of explain some stuff, what's going on there. As I've talked about in multiple other videos, we're still kind of up in the air about if we're moving or not. We do have to make a decision by mid-July, so we'll be figuring that out. It was actually supposed to be a decision we made like a couple days ago, but our landlord extended the amount of time before we have to tell him if we're moving or not. I would say it's like 50-50 right now. I don't know. I don't even know. I was gonna say we might be it doesn't matter. That's not what this video is about. Today I'm gonna show you my June budget, what happened, if I think it went well, if I don't. Let's take a look at it together. So this is how the month went. We ended up bringing in about $52 more than we were anticipating. So I will say one thing. You guys are gonna see the back of my head this whole time. Don't love that. So I will say I got a affiliate payment from something from my podcast. Honestly, I get like maybe one a year. We also got a refund from Ben's income, but otherwise we were right on par for how much that was supposed to be. We were $143 over budget in May. If you've watched that video, you saw. So we were actually in the negative there, which I did fix these, by the way. Everybody always complains about them. Ben fixed them for me. So now when it says in the negative, it was in the negative from last month, but we ended up paying that back. So in here, so you'll see in a minute, but Ben got some money from a friend of his to pay half of an Airbnb that they're splitting. And then I have to pull savings over almost every beginning of the month because our rent is so high that it takes up almost Ben's entire paycheck. So like, for example, he was paid yesterday or Monday, it's now Wednesday, and we have like not even a quarter of his paycheck left after that. So I usually will move some money over from savings at the beginning of the month, and then I try to move it back. So I did do that, and then I also paid this off, or I did some, yeah, so it was savings, but then I technically put it back. So I just wanted to like keep note of it here. And then we got a little bit of interest. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Okay. June was our 6-year anniversary and Ben got a cash grant, so you'll see that in a minute. But that was some of the bigger things we had going on in June. So as far as fixed expenses, nothing was really off. Miscellaneous a little bit, but again, I will only write that off if I end up making enough money from YouTube that I have to write stuff off. Otherwise I won't, but I'm just like keeping it separated at this time. It looks like I over budgeted on multimedia, which is okay, but I was expecting a lot more because we had a couple of like yearly apps coming out. If you can hear birds chirping, I'm sorry, but there's like a thing that they have a nest in over there, but for some reason it must be because it's like connected to whatever is in here, our furnace or something. So it sounds like they're in this room right next to me. They're not. Same with debt. We paid exactly how much we needed to pay this month. And then this section. So you'll see that we didn't go that over budget. I will say I did change a couple of budgets. If you watched my June budget with me and you have a really good memory, you would notice that some of these have changed. I ended up changing them earlier in the month because I found out a couple of things were happening that I didn't budget for that Look at how much hair just came out. This postpartum hair loss is killing me. So I just changed a couple of things around because that's what it made sense to for me. So we did go over budget quite a bit on groceries in Costco. I believe Costco was about $54 over budget. And we spent a lot on Thrive as well. And then we're back in like farmers market time, and I love farmers markets. I want to support farmers more than I want to support like a local grocery store, but their stuff is so much more expensive than if you get it somewhere else. It was just a little bit more than I was anticipating. Our butcher box came out this month too, so it was about $200 over budget based on whatever, but we actually ended up eating most of our meals in. I did up our restaurants and takeout budget. Oh, because we ended up doing like a last minute trip like day in Geneva, Illinois. So I just changed that a little bit because I knew we would be going over budget that day. So we spent $177 on restaurants and takeout, which is more than I would like to, but that's just what happened this month. We were under budget on medication and supplements, under budget on household. It was a couple of Target trips. These birds, can you hear that? It's so annoying. I'm sorry if you can hear that because that's all I can hear. We got toilet paper, things like that, peonies, and we went to this like Bewitching Brews place that I think I put in my Geneva short if you watched that online on shorts. For personal spending, the only thing that came out was my nails this last month, so we didn't end up using anything else because Ben didn't get a haircut. Only spent $15 of medical, and that was an additional charge. When I get acupuncture is charged, but if I get cupping with it, cupping isn't charged through insurance, so that was like a $15 charge. Now I will say my therapist has accidentally been sending my therapy bills to the wrong insurance, so I have probably like 5 bills stacked up, which I'm guessing, I think I have a $20 or $25 copay, so that's gonna come out at some point. She already talked to me about it if I need to like spread it out or anything, but part of this budget was supposed to include that. Yeah, but that was about it that we had for that. We were a little bit over budget on utilities because we paid our electric bill for 2 months because we've just been having issues with these bills being not set up correctly, or yeah, so just having issues, which that's another thing that I just found out. So our landlord did not lower our rent for if we stay for another year, which was expected, to be honest, but that means that our rent is staying $2,700. However, he told us that he forgot to transfer the water over to us, so we had like $1,000 water bill or something for like the last, I don't even know how long. They almost turned our water off because we didn't know that it wasn't set up. We thought it was fully set up. So he told us he would pay that for us for like this last year, which is very nice of him because we weren't anticipating it, but he did say if we stay that we'll have to take over the water bill, which totally makes sense. However, that means that our rent is going up if you count rent and utilities together. So right now, usually we pay around $150 for utilities a month. This month it was $200 because it was off a little bit. So that's like $2,900 of rent a month if you count that. So adding water on is like at least $100 a month apparently is like what it's been coming out to. So that means that our rent goes up to $3,000 a month. And that additional $100 is a big deal. That leaves us with like just under $200 of wiggle room, and that's like hoping that nothing gets messed up or changed or we go over budget in any way. There's a whole thing. I need to get a medical procedure. They can't do the medical procedure until August 26th, which means like it's like confusing with our move out date. But then at the same time, like, I don't know financially if it's intelligent to be paying $3,000 of rent every month, which would be, what even is that? Our rent is 31% of our of our income, and our utilities is like 2%. So 33% of our income is rent, which feels like a lot. Anywhoozle, so moving on from that, we have to figure that out. Car, we were a little bit under budget on. We have been driving more, so we had like gas and tolls and things like that, so about $114. Cora and Finn are our dogs. I budgeted a little bit more this month because I needed to buy them their heart guard. I feel like I'm going in and out of focus again. And then miscellaneous buffer, I did change this one because a couple of things came up. So Ben had a work trip. It was reimbursed, so that's good, but I just put like how much it was here just so it showed up in our budget. The reimburse is somewhere up there, or maybe it came in through May. I don't remember, but it was reimbursed. I bought my mom flowers and sent my mom a package. Her cat died, so I just wanted to like get her some flowers or something. So I sent $25 to my sister to help with that. So we were about $87 under, yeah, $87 under budget on variable expenses, which is pretty good for us. This is something that I'm still like trying to figure out when or if we can start doing sinking funds, because something, for example, like, sorry, you're probably gonna be able to hear the plane going over. Something, for example, like our medical, you know, if I could put that $135 into a sinking fund, it would probably be less if I had a sinking fund. But so when bills came out, like this therapist bill, I'm not going way over budget next month or something like that, because like an unexpected bill came up, which you'll actually see in July, because my dental insurance did not fully cover the type of cleaning that I had to get, so I had to pay $200 out of pocket, which is annoying. So yeah, and there's a lot going on. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I need to do a vlog, but basically I have a whole bunch of medical procedures that have popped up, between some scarier ones that are just like scary to me. I'll be totally fine, but then apparently I need a crown and a filling and braces, which I've known I needed braces for a while, but like we're kind of getting to the point where like my mouth is getting more and more messed up the more I wait on getting braces. So yeah, it's just been, sorry, this is a chattier than normal budget, but I haven't talked to you guys much lately. So yeah, that's why that was over budget, and we were technically under budget, but I would like to figure out sinking funds at some point. But I haven't done sinking funds in so long that I would just need to like think about it a little bit more. Then moving on to this section. So $210, I did change these two in the beginning of the month because a couple of things changed. So we ended up going to Madison by my sister-in-law and brother-in-law for our anniversary. We went with both the kids, and we went to a farmer's market, and we went to a bookstore, like a little local bookstore, and like Ben and I love that kind of stuff. We would much rather do that than get like gifts that neither of us want. So I picked out this book for myself, which I haven't read a ton of, but I really like it. And Ben got himself a book. And then we got a couple things from the farmer's market. They actually bought us lunch, which was really nice. And then for Father's Day, like on Father's Day the next weekend, we went and got lunch and ice cream that whole day. So that was an additional expense that we spent in Wheaton, Illinois. And then we did the Passy Ferry. So I don't know if I've put a short up yet of that. If I did, I'll link it. But basically, we decided to take Ivy's pacifier away. It was about that time. She was getting more and more like where she just always wanted it, and we wanted to like break that habit sooner rather than later. So we also switched her to a toddler bed, and we just decided to do it all at one time. And honestly, spoiler alert, it was very easy. It worked out very easy. But one of the things that our pediatrician recommended, because I think any kid really, but because Ivy's very smart, we were able to kind of like talk her through stuff. So we did like a Passy Ferry type thing, and yeah, I could do like a whole video on this too if any moms or dads are interested in that, but we just did something like that. So I did end up spending a little bit of money getting her some gifts. or like some surprises from the Passy Ferry. Not a ton of money. I think I spent like $15, but just wanted to do that. So that was something I hadn't anticipated until the beginning of the month when we decided on that, which is why I upped this budget a little bit. This is actually a good one to be over budget on. Our savings, we put way more in savings than we were anticipating. So I put money from the beginning of the month that we were like over budget on from the month before in savings, and then Ben got his cash grant. He will only get these cash grant, I think he gets like 3 more, and he gets them like quarterly, so we're only going to get a couple more. Very grateful that he has been getting those though. That came in, and unless there's like an emergency, I immediately put that in savings. I don't even look at, like, I don't mess around with that. I put it directly in savings so that we don't use it. So we actually put almost $1,000 in savings this month, which is really good. About technically like $794, like $800 of that is actual savings versus like paying our savings back, if that makes sense. So about $700 additional, or $800 additional into savings. And then I ended up having to add some stuff to travel, which if you watch my videos, you know that currently we never add anything here because A, Ben hasn't been traveling, and B, we don't have the budget for it, especially living here in Illinois. But one of the things is, if we are going to move to Raleigh, which there is a chance, somebody needs to go out there and like look at places to possibly rent. We would prefer not to do it sight unseen, because that's kind of how we ended up in the house, our last house here, that ended up having mold and, you know, stuff like that. But also he wanted to practice going on a plane. He's been feeling a lot better mentally and physically with his health, and a friend of his is going to Raleigh, actually. Technically he's going to Durham, so Ben is going to fly out there with him so that he'll have somebody with him for his first flight, just in case like his health stuff flares or anything like that. But then while he's out there, he was going to like look for houses if there's anything that he can view. My battery's gonna die. So that was a bunch of flights. He had some Southwest points, so we used that. And yeah, that's about it. We had $55.96 left over at the end of the month. I pushed that over to July, and that's what happened with our budget. But my battery's gonna die. Love you guys. Thanks so much for watching.